Today's episode dives into a remarkable paper, well actually a full book, by S.C. Sayles. The title, The Cosmic Code, Decoding the Universe's Informational Architecture. Sayles is a philosopher-theologian who honestly goes full throttle after the biggest questions of existence. So what is the core problem or question Sayles is dealing with? Here's the big one. Why is the universe so structured? Why does everything, from particles to consciousness to time, seem to be governed by what you could almost call a code? If you're thinking that sounds abstract, you're right, but it matters a ton. Imagine you're looking at the periodic table, or DNA, or the way gravity works. Why does it all fit together so well? Why are the laws of physics so annoying precise? I mean, wow, even black holes seem to follow complex informational rules. If these underlying patterns didn't exist, you, me, this podcast, even atoms, none of that would hang together. So Sayles' main question is, what gives reality its shape, its structure, and its meaning? To tackle this, Sayles introduces something he calls the information field, or IDF if you're into symbols. Instead of thinking of reality as just swirling matter and energy, Sayles argues that everything is fundamentally informational. The universe, in his view, is less like a thing and more like an intricate multi-layered code, one that spans the physical world, the world of thought, and an even deeper spiritual realm. Wild, right? Now, how does Sayles get there? He draws on physics, philosophy, and even theology. First, he points out that quantum mechanics, oh boy, quantum mechanics always upends things, shows reality acting as probability patterns until someone measures it. Particles aren't just little billiard balls, they're fuzzy clouds of possibility. Observation collapses those clouds into actual reality, but the act itself is about information. What gets encoded, what gets measured, what gets lost. So he says, the rules aren't about stuff, they're about data. He stretches this even further, referencing the famous holographic principle from black hole physics. The idea is that everything inside a black hole, or even a whole chunk of space, is described by information on its boundary, not its volume. If you're picturing a movie projected onto a screen, you're not far off. Sayles takes that idea and says, hold up, why not consider all reality as a projection from a deeper code? The code being the information field, the IDF. It doesn't stop there. In fields like biology, he mentions how DNA works as a code. And in cognitive science, the brain seems to interpret the world, not directly, but kind of like a computer using icons on a desktop. Again, underlying information and symbols instead of raw stuff. Then there's a theological element. Sayles says every meaningful system needs an encoder. Codes don't just pop up without a mind. So, using the ancient concept of the logos, a rational structuring principle, he suggests the universe's intelligibility is logocentric. That is, you can't get structure and meaning without a mind behind the code. So to recap, the core of Sayles' argument is that the universe is structured by an informational field, IDF, which informs everything from quantum physics to consciousness. This field, he argues, is multidimensional. It structures physical laws, mental experience, and even spiritual meaning. Every law, every pattern is ultimately a manifestation of an encoded architecture. What does this mean for you? Well, Sayles' work is actually pretty radical in its implications. Imagine for a second your thoughts, the world outside your window, the flow of time, even things like entropy and physical laws. They're not just brute facts, they're shaped by a code, and if that's true, then new questions emerge. What does it mean to live in a cosmos that, at its core, is meant to be read? Are you just an observer, or also a participant in an ongoing informational process? And maybe, is your ability to find meaning a reflection of some deeper structure of reality itself? He's careful not to say, science gives us all the answers. In fact, He argues that science discovers patterns, philosophy reflects on their meaning, but only with a broader lens, one that's open to metaphysical ideas. Do we start to glimpse the architecture behind it all? Maybe you'll agree with Sayles, maybe you'll think it's all a neat story, but his framework, grounded in the latest science and ancient thought, can encourage all of us to look at reality with fresh eyes